bitch, you a bird, you thought, you learn, you see, I earn, you stop. A word, I shoot, no rim, I'm high, you burn, I'm me, that's him, you nah, that's word.
What's up, fight fans? My name is Anik Subramanian. I'm a journalist for the Scrap News. Tonight, I'm here with Pennsylvania's own Taylor Cahill. On June 29th, he takes on Marcus Williamson at 247 FC, Brawl in the Burgh. First of all, Taylor, how are you, man? How's life?
That's good, man. It's going real well right now, man. There for a little bit, you know what I mean? We're, down and out, but climbing back now and just taking it day by day and getting ready for the fight. So
I'm looking forward to it, man. Now, how's fight camp been? How are you feeling? Anything specific you're training, focusing on wrestling, grappling, striking?
no, I mean the focus is kind of always just MMA geared, You're focused on strikes to takedowns and then takedowns to control and then control to finishes. But ultimately, I'm in a pretty good spot mentally and physically, better than I was previously. So, I can't really complain much. Life's been good.
That's good to hear, man. Now, have you been training at the shop 814 in Berlin, Pennsylvania, or where have you been training for this?
So the shop's my place that I own, and I just gear that towards whatever training I feel I need, so I can invite people in that I'm close friends with, or um, it's kind of more geared toward wrestling right now. Especially we got a stellar group of older guys coming through, some guys that are ranked in the country that I'm training with. So it's a good training method while I'm home. But I've also been training at Gorilla House with Ethan Goss, Darren Cassidy, Tyler Divert, and many more up there. So there's a good pro team up there that I'm working with, and Darren's striking is second to none. So I feel like I'm really honing in my game.
That's awesome to hear, man. Now, at the shop 814, right? What is like the long-term goal with this? Like, you opened this up, like, is it to do what you love for a living full time? Is it to like build a business? Like, what exactly? It's a cool story because not many fighters own a gym, so I'd like to hear more about that.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like all of the above. I guess that I just started it as a way to train while I was home, and then we started getting guys come in for wrestling, and before I knew it, we had a little probably 20 by 18 room, and it was packed with all the best wrestlers in the area, guys who were placing at the state tournament, and guys who were going on to be high school All-Americans and whatnot. So kind of made sense and was fitting to kind of turn into a business, and slowly but steadily have grown our numbers like dramatically. So we're moving locations now to Somerset, and we're in the process of renovating the other buildings. So I guess long term the goal is just to be able to do it here. Be able to do everything that I have to travel for. I always had to travel for here at home. So
That's pretty cool, man. That's really cool. Now, you have some high school guys placing in states, right? Any rising prospects you want to shout out that we should all be looking out for in the MMA community?
I mean, yeah, definitely have a bunch, but two of my first guys, I would say Rowan Holmes and Cross Cassidy. Those two definitely need a shout out. Cross is a sophomore right now. He's ranked 13th in the country. Beginning of this year, kind of had a big part in pushing him to a Division I college open, and he showed that he was able to compete as a high school sophomore with some of the best guys in Division I. So he's definitely one of the best wrestlers in the country and definitely a rising prospect. And then also Rowan Holmes, PIAA third this year. He's one of our first guys, and he's kind of took the bull by the horns, and he's one of the toughest guys in the state to beat. So he hit a national ranking. So it's awesome to see some of our guys that really paid it, or really bought in, started to get some awesome results.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. I'll keep a lookout. I think the world is going to learn these names soon. Now, for you specifically, right? Like, what led you into mixed martial arts? Like, was it your upbringing? Was it your life? Like, what? Tell me about your journey to get here.
It's kind of just something I've always wanted to do. So, I think starting out younger than I can even remember, I've always wanted to fight. I wanted to be in boxing so bad at a young age, and my parents just didn't want to put me in because they didn't want my head to get damaged at 5 years old. But I don't know. I always had a knack for fighting, and I always enjoyed it. So, growing up as a wrestler in the state of Pennsylvania, it's kind of, they go hand in hand. So I really excelled in that, and I took it to the highest level, collegiate wrestling. And after I needed to compete more, man. And I knew exactly what I wanted to get into. I was boxing in college. I was doing a lot of no-gi jiu-jitsu in college. So kind of the transition was kind of easy, to be honest. So I'm just happy to get back and hopefully get rolling and stay active here.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Now, I'm gonna ask one more fighting question, and then we're gonna move into some fun ones. I like to keep things different here. I want the world to get to know you, right? So, last fight question, right? You train in places like American Top Team, Brazilian Top Team, right? What are the most highest profile guys you've trained with, and what was that like?
Um, it's definitely different. I think the biggest thing is just the pace. It's not necessarily the skill level is that drastic. I think the thing is just being able to keep a high level pace over and over is the biggest thing with those guys. I would say the best guy I've ever trained with, Renato Moicano, the UFC, the lightweight. I think that he's going to be the world champion one day. The guy's just, I mean, he's second to none. I mean, he's incredible on the ground. He's incredible on his feet. He's signed by the same management as me. I believe he's ranked top 10 in the lightweight rankings right now. So, but he's hands down one of the best guys I've ever trained with. Or one of my good buddies, Dalton Rosta. He's I guess now PFL middleweight, and he's one of the best in the world. The dude's phenomenal striker, phenomenal wrestler, and just freak athlete. So, I've been around. I've trained with some of the best guys, but I think those two stand out from the pack as two of the top guys I've ever trained with.
Yeah, man. Moicano's actually 10th ranked, and you guys are both with KO Reps, right?
Yeah.
And
he's incredible, man. And a super humble guy too. He's amazing. He's an amazing guy to work with. I was able to see him kind of in the way that he lived, and he was working out more than anybody. He was always on the bag, or he was always running. When there wasn't class, he was running a class, and you know what I mean. Like he was always training with the pro team. The guy he lives and breathes and sleeps it. So I mean, there's no doubt that he's going to be at the top.
Yeah, man. Money Moicano. I hope they give him a big fight soon. I expected to see him. I know they didn't book him with Paddy Pimblett. Surprised they didn't put him on the McGregor undercard, but let's see. I'd like to see him fight twice more this year because he's been on a tear lately.
Yeah, for sure.
Rapid fire. If you could have two MMA fighters to back you in a street fight, who would it be?
Fuck, I don't know, man. That's a hard one too. You gotta take Nate Diaz. He's one of them, right? Who's my second one? Maybe definitely Conor McGregor. I want Conor McGregor. Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor.
I like that.
Man, I don't know. I maybe want to throw in a heevyweight. Now I'm not thinking straight. You know what I mean? Maybe one small guy, like one small McGregor, and then I don't know, Francis Ngannou.
I like that. Those two of the hardest hitting guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. McGregor and Ngannou, and hey, if it's McGregor and Diaz, you got a bit of frenemies there, but now they know how to work together and against each other. Right. So that'll be cool. Now, speaking of McGregor, right? Who do you think wins that big fight at UFC 303? McGregor or
I don't
Michael
know.
Chandler?
I love McGregor. I'm riding with McGregor all day. I'm not a big Michael Chandler fan. I mean, I think he's good for the sport in ways, but I also just think he's like a little cringy. So, definitely McGregor. But I mean, right now it doesn't seem like his lifestyle's aligning with how it should. You know what I mean, for a big time fight like that. But at the same time, like in the same breath, that guy's so skilled that sometimes when you get to that level, like your lifestyle obviously plays into it, but when you're that good, it also is like the margin for error is super small, so don't count him out. You know what I mean? Even if he's not living the best lifestyle, he's gonna have a fighter's chance because of how skilled he is.
That's very true. Now I'm gonna shift over to another fight, a little bit different, a little bit older. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Now that fight was postponed.
Why do you think it was postponed though? I think it was postponed for a reason.
I believe so too. Who do you think is a logical opponent for Jake Paul?
Anyone that's young, I think, really. I think Mike Tyson fight was just to gain some attention. I think that, the plan was never to fight. I think it was just kind of hype both of them. But at the end of the day, you can't fight Mike Tyson just out of respect. You know what I mean? He's one of the greatest ever. I would never want to fight him inside or outside his prime, and not because of, fear reasons, but just because the guy's, a walking embodiment of what the sport's become. So how do you disrespect him that much and compete against him? You know what I mean? I think that's a guy that, he's standalone, and what he's done in his time is you have to respect it regardless. So I don't know, man. I would like to see like Jake Paul and Conor McGregor. I think everybody would like to see that. I just don't know what McGregor's thinking about that.
That's a good point. That would make a lot of money. I don't know. We'll see if Dana would be happy with it. Hey, if it's money, anything, it might be able to convince Dana, but maybe not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Sean Strickland and Jake Paul.
I would love that, man. I saw him at 302 this weekend. I saw him fight because we're in the East Coast, and the crowd went nuts for his walkout. Like it's nuts how much. Like, yeah, some people don't like Sean, but like his fan base is crazy. Like Sean
Strickland's the man.
I would love to see Jake Paul, Sean Strickland in a press conference as well. I think that would be
Yeah, it'd be
maybe
awesome.
crazier than the fight. A couple more from me, right? If you were a superhero, what would be, who would you be and why?
Spider-Man, right? Is he a superhero?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Spider-Man. I don't know why. It's just he's always been my favorite.
Awesome,
I guess I
man.
don't have a reason, man. He just like the shooting webs is pretty sweet.
Yeah, you don't need a reason for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now, one last one for me. Would you like to say to your fans, your sponsors, your family, and any parting words before your fight?
I would just like. I mean, there's a few people that I would like to thank personally. I think they've been a instrumental reason why I'm still at it, why I'm still competing the way I am. I think number one would be Clayton Lee. Lee, he's the amateur champ in Pittsburgh, 247. I mean, he's been right with me the whole way, ups and downs, and he's been riding with me through everything. So he's the main reason why, I'm still doing what I'm doing. I think sometimes he believes in me more than I believe in myself. So, it's essential. It's important to have guys like that around you that are, that love and care about you, that are also super high level and, going to take that next step in their career as well, because, you're headed right there with them. So that's always nice. Other than that, I'd like to thank Darren Cassie for keeping me moving. Before my last fight, there was a lot of things that I wasn't happy with. A lot of reasons why I think that I shouldn't taken the fight, and I think that the version of Taylor Cahill you saw out there wasn't the right one. I mean, it was one that shouldn't have been fighting in the first place. But also, I never steer away from a challenge. So, but he was one guy beside me the whole way, just telling me that I should be looking out for myself and stuff like that. So, now it's fitting that we're training together and working alongside. And I think that I'm going to be the best version of myself moving forward. And on June 29th, I'm going to finish this man in the first round.
I was going to ask you your prediction for you versus Marcus Williamson. How do you finish him in the first round?
TKO on ground and pound.
Sounds good, my man. Well, Taylor, I really appreciate you hopping on. Looking forward to watching you fight, and best of luck.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.